Write down what you love about yourself right now. All the great things about you right now, write them down. Hey guys, Vicky Lemons here and welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am so glad to have you here. So in this video, I'm going to give some parenting tips. I'm probably going to make this a multiple series video set playlist. Because I get asked all the time, well, I get told all the time how wonderful my children are, and I'm not exaggerating. I love that I get to hear that all the time, but since they were little, people always would compliment me on how well behaved they are. We would go to restaurants, people would stop me and say, oh my gosh, your children are so well behaved. Even now as teenagers, my children are literally the children that other people want their children to hang around. And that's not to brag, but it kind of is, because I have some really great kids, but I also pour a lot into them. So I'm thankful that what I'm pouring in, as well as my husband, is creating some really wonderful adults. But some tips. What are some things that I can share with you that I do with my children that if you are looking for some tips can help you? If you're not and you have it all figured out on your own, great job. I'm proud of you. But if you would like some tips, here's a few. Like I said, I'm gonna do a few videos, but here's a few for this video. Number one, they are my children, but they are not less than me. They are not, I am not here and they are here. We are here. I treat them as equals. I don't treat them as less than. I treat them as equals. And when I was growing up, children were seen, not heard, right? Children were not to be around adults so much. Children weren't talked to very respectfully. And it was that's just how it was. But I don't treat my children that way. I don't treat them like they're less than. I don't talk down to them. I don't talk to them as if they don't understand. I treat them as equals, with the understanding that the thing that separates how much they know and I know is time. I've been on this earth 42 years. They've been on this earth 12 years and 15 years. So what I know, they wouldn't know. My experiences are more. My wisdom is more. From time, from age, and that doesn't make them less than me. So I don't treat them that way. I don't treat them like they are less than. Number two, respect. I treat my children with respect. I don't treat them mean. I don't treat them rude. I teach them how to be respectful. I teach them how to respect themselves. I teach them how to speak respectfully. I teach them about manners. I teach them about tone in their voice, how to express themselves without being rude. And if it does come across rude, how to correct themselves. I'm big on being I'm big on respect and it going both ways. If I want my children to respect me, well then I respect them. I teach them by showing them what it's like to be respectful by respecting them. So that when they come at me, they know how to approach me because that's how I approach them. So respect. I treat my children with respect. With that being said, as they were growing up, what I've always taught them is time and place. To be respectful of the time and place. If we are not in a place where running around and acting crazy is appropriate, like a park or a gymnasium, then we don't run around and we don't act crazy. And that's just being respectful for the environment that we're in, being respectful of the other people there trying to enjoy whatever's going on. So being respectful and having respect and being respected is something that I teach my children to do and to be. That's number two. Number three, I am very nurturing. However, I am also very firm. That's actually my motto in the house. I'm firm, but I'm fair. I love all my kids. I love all my kids so much. But then I also include that balance of if something needs to be corrected, I correct it. And I do it when it needs to happen. I don't wait weeks or whatever to say, remember when you did this? No, if my son does something that I don't like, I correct the behavior right then and there. And I've done that since they were little. If they act up, it doesn't matter where we are. I will take them to the restroom, I will handle it, and that's where it stops. I am firm, but I am fair. I love loving on my children. But I also have to have that balance because I am raising them. I'm teaching them how to be, how to socialize, what things are acceptable and what things aren't. And the only way to do that is to correct the behavior when it happens. So finding that balance between loving and nurturing and discipline. So that's number 3. Number 4, communicate. I love teaching my children how to communicate. Even when they bicker back and forth, they say things like, AJ, you frustrate me so much. You're being passive aggressive. You know, that's how my children fight. But I love that because they're expressing how they feel correctly. They're effectively communicating. And because we didn't grow up, or because I didn't grow up being able to express how I felt to anyone really, I had to learn that skill over time. I had to learn how to vocalize exactly what I was feeling and express it in a way that the person that I'm saying it to is actually comprehending it. And that's what I teach them. I teach them about expressing themselves in the way that is effective. And I also communicate with them about everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I use every moment as a teaching moment. If we're watching a show and there's a certain innuendo that I feel like, you know, maybe they don't quite know what that is, I will pause the TV and I will ask them, do you understand what they mean by that little joke? And if they say no, I tell them, because me and my husband, we say all the time, there's so many things that we caught on to later as we got older, like, that's what they were talking about. But I tell my kids, because I don't know, I like for them to understand the dialogue. Why hold that from them when they can understand it now? They're intellectual enough where they can understand it now and get the full experience and move forward. Now their knowledge level has just increased. And so I communicate with them. I teach them. I'm very expressive with them, and they are very expressive in their own right as well. Number 5, I check in with them. I make sure that when I have them alone, I'm always checking in. How are you doing? How are things in your world? Is there anything you want to talk about? And I'm so open with my kids. We talk about everything. I'm telling you everything. Because like with number 4, communication is a big deal. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable the conversation is. We talk about it. So I would rather it be a little uncomfortable for me to hear like something crazy is going on in their world and be able to give them some sound advice than for them to not tell me and miss out on that opportunity. So I check in with them. I like to see how things are going on in their world. I like to hear how their day is going. I like to hear what subjects they like, what subjects they don't, who in the class made a funny joke, whatever they want to tell me. I love to listen to it. Whether I don't want to listen to it or not, I make a point to listen to it, to share in that moment with them because it's part of their world. I'm checking in with them. Number 6, encouragement. I encourage my children to be exactly who they were created to be. I want to experience them at their most authentic level. And I love watching them grow, and I love watching them spread their wings, and I love seeing how they come into their own. And it's really a beautiful thing to see. But I encourage them to do that. I encourage them to speak up when they need to speak up. I encourage them to try something new. I tell them how much I'm proud of them. I encourage them to be the best that they can be, and to be proud of who they are and of their family, and to be proud of how they represent our family, and be proud of just being themselves. I truly believe my children feel that there isn't anything they can't do if they wanted to. And I love that, because I encourage them to just be their best at whatever it is they want to do. Encouragement, a little encouragement goes a long way. Number 7, they are a blessing, not a burden. And I know there are some who are waiting for their children to leave the house so that they can live. We don't operate like that here. I think you don't enjoy, I think when you have that approach to parenting, it takes away from the joy of every phase of parenting. I love seeing my children grow. It feels like just yesterday my son was 4 years old, and now he's almost 16. And in a couple of years, he'll be out going to college or travel, whatever he wants to do to become his most authentic self. That's what he'll be doing. And I won't have the same influence on him that I do now, in the ways that I can kind of mold him, right? He'll be his own person. He'll be ready to fly. And I'm using this time to help him build his wings, so that when he does fly, I know that he'll be conscious of certain things. I've poured so much into him and into my daughter that they'll be aware. They'll be more knowledgeable. They'll be ready for the world, as ready as they can be. And that's what I'm using these 18 years to do. Not to hurry up and rush them out my house so that I can live my life. My children aren't a burden to me. They really are a blessing to me. And I treat them that way. And I believe when you treat your children that way, they grow to be special, really special people. So there you go. That's 7 tips on how I parent my children. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, put them in the comments below. I would love to answer them for you. If you would love more tips on a specific topic, let me know. I would answer that for you. As always, I thank you for watching, and you can find me on all social media platforms, Vicki Lemons. I thank you, and God bless.